maybe if I'm fortunate enough to live that long, there will come a day when I'm not both astounded and pissed off in equal amounts by the arrogance of Christians here in the UK. Their self-importance and sense of entitlement abound, in spite of all their preaching of humility and unworthiness in the sight of God. We're hearing increasing numbers of complaints from Christians claiming that they're being victimised and oppressed. But then, when you do a bit of investigation and look at the detail of their complaints, it isn't about their being treated as second-class citizens. It generally boils down to their complaining that they're being prevented from treating other people as second-class citizens. Complaints that their privileged status is being threatened. It's a dishonest and frankly sickening spectacle, and it's a pity that these people don't have any sense of shame, because if they did, they'd slink off to a corner somewhere in embarrassment. We have the recent case of a nurse who took her employer to court because she wasn't allowed to wear her cross. Health and safety regulations forbade the wearing of jewellery on the ward. She claimed religious discrimination because her desire to wear a miniature replica of an ancient torture device is more important than the health and safety of sick people and her co-workers. We have devoted Christian Gary McFarlane, who was sacked by Relate because he refused to counsel same-sex couples. His claim is that his bigotry is threatened by granting equality to other people. Lord Carey, the former Archbishop of Canterbury, has recently proposed that cases of religious discrimination should be conducted by a specially constituted panel of judges who have, and I quote, proven sensitivity and understanding of religious issues. What I find most disgusting about that proposal is the hypocrisy driving it. Not so long ago, there was talk of Sharia court being set up here in Britain. And when news of that broke in the media, you could probably have heard the wails of protests from the fucking moon. Lord Carey proposes what is, in effect, exactly the same thing, and we hear virtually nothing, apart from a few humanist groups and some stories in the right-wing press actually agreeing that poor, persecuted Christians need special protection. So let's take a look at their claims and see how well they stand up to even the most superficial of scrutiny. Religious people in Britain already enjoy protection for their irrational, superstitious beliefs. For example, pharmacists can refuse to supply contraceptives because of their Catholic beliefs, and that's considered acceptable by the Pharmacist Code here in the UK. But that isn't enough for Christians, presumably because, like most religious believers, they believe that their religion is right, and therefore it's special. The British government contains members of the Christian Church with a proven record of sabotaging attempts at granting gay people equality. People whose Dark Age views mean that they really have no place in the lawmaking process of a modern society. People who do their utmost to prevent any law passing that lessens the unjustified privilege enjoyed by the Church in this country. It seems that Christians feel they should somehow have a special right to allow them to discriminate against other people, to be exempt from the laws that apply to every other person in this country, whilst being protected themselves by those very same laws. Special consideration so that they can continue in their discrimination against others in a way that would be illegal for anybody else. Their howl of protest is that their religious freedom counts for nothing in modern Britain. In the case of Lillian Ladille, a registrar who was sacked from her position for refusing to perform civil partnerships, her advocates have argued that under UK equality laws, I quote, the ruling meant that the right to express the Christian faith must take second place to the rights of homosexuals. If nothing else, I suppose you have to admire the chutzpah for voicing that argument. So there you have it. When Christians complain about being discriminated against, what they're complaining about is not that they are being victimised themselves, but that they're being prevented from victimising others. Not that they're being treated as second-class citizens, but that they feel their privileged position is under threat. So much for a religion that's supposedly founded on humility, love, compassion, and charity for your fellow man. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll live long enough to see the tide of reason flush away the rotten corpse of their God, so that its stench no longer pollutes our country. I probably won't live that long, but I can always hope.